What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are going to be doing the dirtiest deed that any man can possibly do to his car. We are going to be cutting up this perfect prime example of a clean E46. Now, before we start hacking away at this, the reason that we're cutting this car up obviously is because this is our competition level car. And if you guys watched the last video, I mentioned that we are going to be going with a complete fiberglass rear end. Now, I'm going to go into depth a little bit as to why we're doing that. So, if we utilize the stock rear end, which is clean, pristine, no damage, no issues, and we hit a wall, right? I'm not saying hit somebody. If we hit a wall, which happens because it is drifting, this whole rear end is going to crush, crumple, and twist. We've seen it happen. The problem is this area by the pillar can get damaged. It can get twisted, it can get mashed up and scrambled, and then pulling this to align it with the rear polycarbonate glass that we're gonna have, or any glass for that matter, is going to be a shit show. So for that reason, we are going to be cutting up basically the entire rear end of the car, as well as where the over fender is gonna cover. We need to cut this area anyway, but we are going to just go ahead and cut the entire rear end off. So aside from the rear end, we are still going to have to cut the rear deck, possibly in this video, hopefully within the next 1 or 2 videos, but that also has to get cut out because we are running a rear mounted radiator setup, so we are going to need this area to be basically completely empty for the airflow to travel into the radiator. So I did cut out the battery box that was over here. I needed the battery box for my wagon, which is my daily, but the battery box that's in there now is currently rotted out, so we have to cut out the battery box, which happens to be right over here. We cut this guy out, and we're gonna be welding this guy into the wagon to get that car on the road again soon. So that's coming up hopefully within the next couple days. But for right now, we're basically going to mimic the same cut pattern that we did on this side in regards to the frame rail. We are going to go up by this body line on this side, and then we are going to follow this body line by where the seam is all the way up. So we're gonna get started with roughly just cutting out the rear end. I've made some guidelines with tape. These are very, I guess, not exact, but these are gonna give us a good idea of where we're going to start cutting. It's always best to cut twice and not cut too much. So we're going to go a little bit conservative. We're gonna start cutting out basically the parameters where the tape is, and then if we have to fine tune it and we have to go in and cut it in a little bit later, then we can always come back and file that down and cut that up. So we are going to start the heavy cutting with Big Boy. So I picked this up from Harbor Freight. It's a cheap body saw. It's actually pretty cool. Gets the job done. It actually accepts regular Sawzall blades, which is great, in addition to the small little body saw blades that it comes with. So we are gonna use a mixture of both of them. We're gonna start by using this one to cut off, I guess, the thicker lump sum of the metal, and then we're going to transfer over to the smaller body saw to cut out the thinner metal that's over here by the quarters. We're gonna start from the passenger side because I'm gonna see the driver's side, so if I mess up, I'm gonna be mad at myself. I'd rather mess up on the passenger side, not on the driver's side. So we're gonna start with the passenger side, and we're gonna get cracking at it. So here's a time lapse of that. Car's not happy. All right, we switched over to the little guy because the big guy was a little bit not happy, and this is thin metal, so we're gonna go with the little guy for now. So these quarter panels are dual layered, so we're just worried about cutting out the outside shell for now. And then once the outside shell basically gets cut up and split up, we're gonna go into the inside shell and cut that up as well. Beautiful. here we have the inner shell. Now, could just give this a nice quick slit down. And this one's done. All right, guys, we officially ruined an E46. It's actually weird looking how this actually has like spray foam basically in it. Like it's soft, it's just sandwiched by like 2 pieces of metal. But that's gonna get cut out anyway. This piece is a filler piece for the inside. That's gonna get blocked off with a piece of sheet metal and should be good. Now, we just need to get to this one little spot, but it is a tight one. It would probably be way easier to just literally cut this down the middle. Should we just cut it down the middle? There we go. So now where are we holding? Literally just holding in this one little tiny spot over here. Literally right here. It's a double layer of sheet metal. So we just need to slice that guy. And I think this side of the quarter panel should be completely off. Guys, if you're doing this at home, wear your eye protection. I don't have any, so I'm kind of winging it. And there she goes, guys. What once used to be a machine of its time has now been transformed to this. But we're gonna make a sick drift build out of her, so it's all gonna be worth it in the end. Plus, every drift car looks like this anyway. So. But we do have a lot of cleaning up. We have a lot of cutting things out. Like I said, we're gonna cut this out. We have to cut this arch a little bit nicer. Figure out exactly what we're doing. Because like I said, I've never done this before. I lied. I just did it for the first time. So I know exactly what I'm doing on the driver's side, which is why we did it on the passenger side the first time. So that way, if I mess up, well, at least I don't mess up as bad on the driver's side. So we're not gonna bore you with the cutting footage of the driver's side. We're gonna do the infamous YouTube magic. You guys ready? All right, guys, so here we have the E46 basically cut up on both sides. It wasn't that difficult. I did a lot of rough cutting, so some of this is most likely still gonna get refined, changed up a little bit, but now that we have it basically cut where we need it, we're going to be able to run the rear fiberglass clamshell. We don't have that yet, unfortunately, but that is coming hopefully within the next couple of weeks. We still have a lot of fine trimming to do. Like I mentioned, this is just sandwiched, I guess, something with foam. So this has to come off. We're not running this at all. This is getting replaced, so this has to come off. We're gonna make a nice block off shield to prevent any smoke or tire debris from getting in there. And obviously, you know, we still have some edges that we're definitely gonna file down, clean up. This is super rough, but it's where we need it to be in order to start planning out how we're gonna set up the rear end. So what once was an E46 coupe is now an E46 Ti. But that's basically it for this episode. I know it's a short one, it's a simple one, but we basically got done what we wanted to get done. We are going to be building our rear tube end from these points. That's gonna be a separate video. I still have to even these out, kind of cut them a little bit more flush, square them off, so that way our dimensions are all going to be the same. Now, that's probably going to happen within the next week to 2 weeks, but as of right now, we have the rear end cut. We're ready to start cleaning all these edges up, so this way nobody gets cut. And I am going to be fabricating a piece of steel that's going to close this off kind of, sort of, just to kind of clean up the look, so this way we don't have a huge hole over here. And then we're gonna leave it open from the bottom, because the bottom can stay open, but over here we're gonna basically put a cap on it. So that's it for this video, guys. Like this video, leave comments, and please subscribe so this way this channel can grow. And I will see you guys in the next video.